It's time for Two Guys and a Goalie with Dustin Nielson, Matt Kassian, and the goalie, Joaquin Gage.
Happy Thursday, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Two Guys and a Goalie. Dustin, Cass, and Gager with you once again. Episode 320, brought to you by our great partners at Coolbet. Actually, see my road graphics still actually say featuring producer Hernan Salas. And you know what, boys? I saw Hernan Salas last night. Went for a couple of drinks with him here in Winnipeg because he's on the road with the Elks. And he did say, he goes, "Hey, Dusty, thanks for the shout-out on the last episode of Two Guys and a Goal." I was just like, oh, it's good to see you, Hernan. So he was classic Hernan. He was fired up about everything. It was good. It was good to see him, man. So he passes along his wishes to you guys. How you guys doing on this Thursday morning?
I'm, you know what? I forgot about a little story I had on the last episode that I thought I saw your boy Jared Spurgeon the other day, Cass.
So, little Spurge. I didn't know he was in town.
Well, no, I was at the airport, and my daughter was up back in Ottawa for the dance competition thing. Went to go pick them up, but you bring the dog into the airport, right? So, and my dog is great. Like, he's a showstopper. So, I see Spurge's wife, an attractive lady. I see her kind of checking out the dog. Like, dog's just a chick magnet, right? So she walks over and she goes, "Can I pet your dog?" I go, "By all means." And then around the corner, I see a slow motion, the cart with the bag, and I see sticks. I go, "Of course." And then I see the wild bag, and Spurgeon comes over, and he goes, "Oh, great dog." And I think they had Newfies or something at one point, she said. And then I go, "Hi, Jared." And he looks at me like, "How does he know me?" And his wife was like, "How does he know you?" And I go, "I'm friends with Cass." I said, "Good luck this year." And off he went. So it was he's small in stature. Hey, he's not a big guy at all. It's amazing what he is able to accomplish on the ice. Like, it's quite impressive. But
he's an incredibly
because he's like 5'10", isn't he, Cass? Like, he's not a big dude at all.
Like, not even 5'10". He probably closer to like 5'9", maybe 5'10". And I remember, and that was for him, like, from a draft standpoint, from a getting an opportunity standpoint, that was the knock against him. Even especially back then, was even more so, was like, well, he wasn't very big. But I still remember, like, he had a good camp, was good in prospects camp. We were in, I think, Traverse City together at the development, like, prospects preseason camp. He got an invite to main camp, did pretty well in main camp. And we all got sent down to Houston. And I still, the play, I still remember this one play, and it happened right at the start of the season in Houston, in Rockford, Illinois, where he was under pressure on the forecheck, and just a little shimmy shake of a guy to step around him, then gain the net, and then step right around the net. And the second his stick is past the net, on his forehand side, making a stretch pass up ice to create a 2-on-1. I just remember being like, whoa. Like, just seeing, but seeing the processing ability. And that's what's, because he's not big, he has to be smart. He has to have great vision, great anticipation, great position, and has to play smart. And he's got that all in spades. Absolutely in spades. Like, yeah, just stepped around, and unbelievable. So it didn't take very long or very many games to be like, yeah, this guy's probably going to play in the NHL at some point. And then he just continued to grow, and, like, not size wise, but just from a ability standpoint. So pretty crazy. I lived with him for a while during the lockout, because his wife was still back in Edmonton, and the whole family was in Edmonton, and I was still in Minnesota, like his family. And I didn't have a place to stay, and I was like, well, I didn't know how long it was going to go on. I was like, I don't want to rent a place. They haven't told me to get a place, so I don't want to be stuck, like, whatever. I was like, I'm not renting a place yet. So I was just like, "Hey, Spurge, can I crash at your place?" And so I stayed there we hung out for a whole bunch of weeks. And then his wife was coming, and he kicked me out.
Yeah. It's funny, like, because I saw that wild bag, and it was his, I think, what's his wife's name again, Cass? What's his, you know his wife's name?
I believe Danielle.
Like, they were the nicest people, right? Like, and you can see why. And he wears the C, I think, too. Does he?
Yeah, he's the captain of the Wild.
Like,
yeah,
deservedly so.
Yeah,
like from a character standpoint, like just a quality individual, not a loud guy. I mean, he's not like a vocal, like rah yelling guy, but just like a quiet, steady leadership. Like, can talk to everybody in the room. Not afraid, I don't think, to call guys out on things or to point them in the right direction, but not like push you around style. Like, he's just quiet confidence with him.
Yeah, and it's funny. You meet people, and although it was just a few minutes, you could tell what kind of guy he was. Like, he was super, like, nice guy and kind of typical nice hockey player, right? Like, it wasn't conceited or not that happens a lot, but just seemed like a real down to earth guy. And it was really appreciative that I noticed him in the airport, right? Like, it was amazing. I almost gave him one of my hockey cards.
I'm surprised he didn't ask for one.
It was great. It was pretty good. So if you do talk to him, tell him it was a pleasure to meet him and his wife. They were awesome, and thanks for coming over and saying hi to my boy.
Yeah, I just fired him a text saying you didn't tell me you're in town, so we'll see. I don't know.
Oops.
Yeah, no.
What have you done, Gager?
You know what? He's got enough family and people to see that I don't think I'm high on the priority list, but I'll fire him a text and see if he's kicking around anyways. Maybe I'll
Did you with him. Well, go ahead, Gager. What were you gonna say? I just got.
Well, the second thing, since it's not hot, like we're in the off season here, my son picked up his car yesterday.
I saw a picture of that car. Whoa.
I didn't know, like, when we first looked at it, I was like, okay, it was the first car we saw, so I wasn't like really let's look at it.
Like,
yeah, and it's a standard, right? So driving stick. So we took it for a rip, and I was like, okay, but they detailed it, cleaned it, and I didn't know it had all the bells and whistles in there, the Bluetooth. Like, it's way more advanced than my shitbox that I drive, right? So yesterday was cool. We pick it up. We hit the parking lot where I taught him how to drive to begin with, and it was great getting into the stick shift, and just my neck is just killing me from the starts and stops. But he was good, man. By the end of the day, he had it down pretty good. He was getting a lot smoother. We only stalled a few times at some red lights, and it was just it brought me back to when I was in Vancouver as a kid, and I think it was on like Burrard, like one of the busiest streets in Vancouver. Red light stopped, and I went through a whole green light, and I couldn't get the car going. And my dad had to come out of the drum. I had to walk around and get in the passenger so we could get going. It was just constant honks and stuff. But no, man, sweet ride. Hopefully he'll let me take that for a rip here and there, because there's nothing like driving stick, buddy.
Oh, so fun.
That's awesome. And it's crazy. Your son has a nicer vehicle than my wife. She drives like a 2009 RAV4 that she loves, but like the rims are all rusted out. You can hear it coming. Like, we live on the West End. You can hear her car coming like on the Henday. You're like, oh, Tam's going to be home in about 7 minutes. Like, it's that loud. Like, I've been telling her we'll get her a new vehicle, but she loves it.
He did it. Well, I helped him. Well, we had to help with the financing part of it just because he has no credit, but he has been busting his ass at McDonald's. Now
it's been like years now, hasn't it, Gage?
Yeah, he's been working since he was 14, like, and now 18 gets his first car. So pretty cool, proud moment for him. It's got a sunroof too, for crying out loud.
He's got a sunroof?
It's got a sunroof. Backup camera. Backup. I threw that thing in reverse. I go, Bodie. And he goes, backup camera. I
know. Your son is cooler than you now. Right, like
way cooler.
Well, that happened a while ago.
Yeah.
Well, my daughter is already cooler than me. She's 6. Marshall's still just like a mini version of me. But Elizabeth will come down the stairs wearing some outfit, and I'll look at Tam and I'll be like, God, that's a good looking little cool outfit. She's like, yeah, she picked it out herself. Like, I was just like, damn. We're all three of us, Marshall and me and Tammy, are like, Elizabeth is so much cooler than all of us. Like, it's just sad. Cass, speaking of kids, you guys went to the Riverhawks game, buddy. How was
We did.
that?
We did. It was awesome. Highly recommend it. They didn't. They had an off night, I think, playing wise. Like they didn't play
They've had a
very
few
well.
of those this year, but
Yeah,
it doesn't matter. It's such a good time.
Yeah, quite a few mistakes, but for the kids, they didn't care. I mean, they barely. I mean, we were trying to explain the rules to my oldest, and she kind of got some of it, but they don't really know. They just love when people cheer. They love cheering. They love dancing. Like so the second that there's music, they're dancing, and my wife too. She does the same thing. And I mean, they love popcorn and the experience. It was cost like not overly expensive to take a whole family there, and they made it through the whole game. Now we had to tell them that we were going to take them on the field after the game, which was unreal for
That's
families,
awesome.
by the way. If
Yeah.
you got kids, like so they can run the bases. There's the, you have the golf cart, like they get to go for a ride in the golf cart, running around. The players all stay out, or a bunch of them, a couple of them stay out after. So my wife actually caught a fly ball. So the kids had that, like, and wanted to go get the players to sign it. And so they were running around getting different players to sign it that were out there. And it was a blast. We had a ton of fun. I knew Lieutenant Eric was there. I saw him on the Jumbotron and sent him a text, but he didn't want to hang out. So
He likes to go to those games and just sit by himself up in Section I and just chill. I think he took his brother with him last night. But yeah, dude, I think we're gonna go. I'm supposed to land at like noon on Sunday, and their game starts at 1. So our plan is I'm gonna meet my family at the game on Sunday afternoon. So you're gonna go too, Gager? You're gonna be there on Sunday? Yeah, I think a lot of people are gonna be there Sunday. So
maybe my son will give me I can show up in that car,
or he can just drop you off. I'll pick you up later, Dad.
Valet service.
Perfect.
Yeah,
that would be absolutely incredible. The Riverhawks thing. Go ahead, Gage.
Oh yeah, I just the fan experience at the Riverhawks game. I don't know, Cass, when in the minors and stuff it happened. A lot of times, especially after those Sunday games, because usually they were a little bit early, we would have a fan skate afterwards, right? So all these little kids would bring their skates, and afterwards all the fans, and it was just, I mean, I'm not saying it should happen all the time in the NHL, but what a great idea to have a select few people. I know maybe you don't want guys getting run over by little kids and blown ACLs, or the insurance on it alone might be but it's just another way that to embrace yourself with local teams. I mean, even with the Elks going out on the field afterwards, like, it's a big thing for kids to feel part of that.
Kids don't care that they've lost 20 in a row. They just want to be out on the field running around, right? It's a cool event.
No,
for sure.
and that. Yeah, like when we were talking, me and Mandy were talking about it. It was just like, this is something for them, for the kids. I'm like, they could remember this forever. And because I remember at that field, my dad taking me to some of the AAA games with the Trappers. Mm-hmm. Like, and I still remember the first time I got to meet Homer and I punched him in the just for whatever. Well, probably because it's me. So it's like walk up, give him a hug, and then like feel how squishy he is, and then just punch him to see how squishy, really, right? Because you're a kid. That's what you do. You punch a mascot. And I still remember that. It's a great memory for me of an event like with my dad. And he was always a big, it still is, like a big baseball fan. Still loves the Jays. Still watches quite a bit. And so back then for him, and I know it's not AAA ball, but it's like there's some good young ball players here in a collegiate league. Like you're getting a good summer. It is pretty good ball. Again, they didn't play very well yesterday, but kids don't care. They have fun, and it's something that I'm hoping, because this is first baseball game for them, first sporting event for my youngest, who's 3, and so who knows if she'll remember it or not. But she had an absolute blast still too. It's like, some could be a core memory for forever. So a lot of minor league teams do that. I mean, the Oil Kings too. It's the same sort of thing. Now maybe you don't get the on ice as much, but where they really try to create a fan experience and something that's great for families, and it's fun. It's fun. Doesn't break the bank to go watch, and is quite a good experience. And really, even the ticket price is like, I wouldn't have been mad if we left after like 6 innings.
Exactly, right? You go right, like, nowadays, timing wise, great value.
Right. Yeah. So it was a ton of fun.
I remember back when it was the Edmonton Capitals, we went there the night before my wedding. Like me, my best man, 3 or 4 of the boys, my parents. So we go there the night before my wedding, and we're getting into it pretty good. And the game ends, And they're like, all the kids can head out onto the field. And my best man, my buddy Boom, he's like, can I go down on the field? And I was like, well, you're kind of like a kid. So if you want to go around the bases, have at her. So there's all these kids coming out of the gate. And it was different. Like they would just open up that bottom gate and you just kind of run out and run the bases and then come off. It wasn't like a go hang out on the field thing. So there's all these little kids coming out. And then my buddy in a t-shirt and jeans comes flying out and like passes them all on the outside and is like leading them around the bases. And he's coming into home and he freaking slides into home plate. I was just like, oh, I think I have video of it somewhere. God, it was funny. That was and that was a long time ago. That was the Edmonton Capitals. I did in-house announcing for the Caps when I first moved here in like 2009. And it was fun until they had like a 12-game homestand. And you were down there every single day for 3 hours. But, yeah, there was a good crowd back then, too. Baseball, it's a sneaky baseball community for sure. Like, especially now. It used to be huge. But I think people are kind of coming around a lot on the Riverhawks, which is pretty sweet. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to that game on Sunday. So I flew out. I'm in Winnipeg. And I watched The Joker on the plane yesterday. The Joaquin Phoenix Joker. I wanted to bring this up with you guys because I think he does a phenomenal job in that movie. But I love Heath Ledger. And then if you dial it back, you got Jack's Joker and then whatever Jared Leto was. But do you guys have a favorite Joker?
Heath Ledger still.
Yeah, like it was pretty brilliant.
And what's tough about that, like the Leto one, nah. But the rest of them have all been really, really really, really good. Like Nicholson's in his own way because you have to look at the style, like stylistically in the movies too, like how the movies were done. And Nicholson's was really, really good for like what that character was supposed to be. Like he did an amazing, and he's a great actor. Like did an amazing job. But I mean, I can't get away from Ledger. Like I can't. Like he was like from the look to the character, and I mean, there's the directing was great too. The cut, like they did just a fantastic job with that movie. In all, it's still one of my favorites of all time. But he just was so good. So believable. And not that Phoenix wasn't. Phoenix was really good too, but different
Joker too, right? That was like
different Joker, stylistically different movie. But both of them, for the way that they chose to portray their character, absolutely nailed it. So it's pretty tough to pick between the two. But I still, just because the movie as a whole, still one of my favorites of all time, I got to go with Ledger.
Ledger's probably, I mean, his Batman is probably one of my favorite movie characters of all time, period. Like, not even just for a Joker. Yep. So when I watched it yesterday, I was like, man, Joaquin Phoenix kills it. Like, he was great in that movie, too. Gager, where did you come out on this?
Oh, well, younger, I was always, like, so linear thinking, and I hated the change of characters in movies. But now, with all the multiverse stuff, I'm like, okay, it's just a different universe Joker. But I'm excited to see the new Joker for going forward.
Yeah, it's like
it's a musical.
Right? Yeah.
With Lady Gaga.
Yeah, I saw a little snippet of that. And but also in the new Batman movies with what's his Cedric Diggory? I can't think of his name.
Patterson,
Patterson.
Yeah, Robert Patterson.
Yeah, because they kind of introduced.
They haven't established a Joker yet, though, right? And that
they did. He's in. It was.
Is he in the insane asylum right now?
Yeah, he is. He is. So, but
what's the name of that actor too? I can't remember the name. But
I can't.
Has he done some TV stuff for Joker?
Yeah.
I feel like.
Yeah, he was on some different movie where he played kind of a crazy guy and was.
Yeah.
I never saw it, but it was supposed to be really, really good.
So yeah, I love the Heath Ledger one. Actually, those full Christopher Nolan movies were just on TV. I recorded them all. Just more so when Batman in the first one gives it to Commissioner Gordon the key to the Batmobile and says, "Can you drive stick?" So I said that to my son, handing him the keys yesterday.
He didn't get it though.
He got it. He was like,
"Oh, okay, good." Barry Keoghan. Barry Keoghan.
There you go.
To be the next Joker of that one too. So we'll see. I just love that character in general. So I was watching the play and I was like, wonder what the boys think of this. Couple hockey things that I do actually want to dive into. Some bigger overall discussions because we haven't talked about this one in a little while. And obviously, there's always some people who are already panicking about the contract situations. But with McDavid and Draisaitl, boys, like, Do you think there's any way they don't sign extensions with the Oilers? I know, like, this next year, it's going to be a full-blown panic with Leon Draisaitl and free agency lurking just around the corner. Personally, and maybe I'm just being naive, thinking it's Edmonton, and I love the city, and the team looks really good. Why in the world would they leave? The Oilers will find a way to pay them, but, like, what would have to happen for these guys to actually leave what they're building in Edmonton? Because I just don't see it.
More money elsewhere with an equal opportunity to win.
Yeah.
But how would the Oilers allow anybody to give them more money? You know what I mean? Like, you can't be
if you
cheap
don't have the cap
when it comes
space.
to McDavid.
No, I know.
Well, then you kick Darnell Nurse off a cliff somewhere. I mean, if you need to create cap space, like, you can't not pay those two guys.
Yeah, man, that's I think the thing is, I think there's a good friendship with the two of them. That comes into consideration.
Like, they don't want to let the other guy down by taking off on their own type of thing?
Yeah, so but I think they would understand it. The closest thing I can come to is when Bill Guerin and Doug Weight played together, they were a dynamic duo, and they played mostly together. And it was a sad moment when Bill Guerin got traded. But and I do believe they tried to play again together at some point because there was just such chemistry on the ice and off. It was crazy how tight those two were. But it all depends. It depends what Connor's going to do. Is he going to not be the highest paid player in the league and not care about that so that they can keep Leon and get him the money that he actually deserves? Like, he is a 10 million plus player by far.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy. But is Connor willing to take a bit of a haircut to keep the team competitive enough and keep his ride or die buddy with him as well? So that's God, it would be great to be a fly on the wall at and listening to those two guys talk about it, what's going to happen over the next few years and their decisions moving forward, because they're great together, man. They're the best duo in the league. We haven't seen anything.
It's not even close.
It's not even close. So I think they do realize that, and as players in Kassian, there's nothing like winning games with your buddies, and I can't imagine how they talk about it all the time. I can't imagine how much they think about lifting that Stanley Cup together, because if Connor gets that puck or that cup, the next guy he's passing that thing to is Leon.
But what if? So here's the thing: is let's say everything goes right this year and they win a cup.
Yeah, I was just going to ask that. Like, is it more likely or less likely they stay?
I think it's less likely that they play together because they've got the cup. And I mean, friends, yes, but you can still be friends and get paid $2 million more per year in a long-term deal elsewhere.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, if they win this year, they're gone. Leon's gone.
They're both gone. No,
yeah.
you might. I think
you can make a case, build a dynasty, which you just don't see.
Which you don't see either. You can, but I'm just saying, I would think it makes it less likely that you retain both of them if you win a cup.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd probably lean to agree with you, but I do. I mean, it would be something if they win a cup and we're staying, the whole LeBron
awesome.
thing. Not 2, not 3, not 4. Just keep piling them up. So it's going to be a weird time in this city when one or two of those guys aren't playing with this hockey team, which is crazy to think. We're almost a decade into Connor McDavid, which just doesn't make any sense. Really, it's quite something.
Especially every time if Leon comes off the ice and slams his stick, every reporter in Toronto goes, "Oh, he wants out."
That's the end of him. He doesn't want to be here anymore. Okay, the other question I have, actually, this was popped up on one of the questions to one of our oil stream feeds, and I never got to it. But somebody asked us, and I thought it was interesting. If you took the 1985 Edmonton Oilers, who were voted the greatest team in NHL history, and put them against an all-star Oilers team from 91 to now in a head-to-head best-of-7 series, who do you think wins?
It's the 85 Oilers.
You think so?
And
Even with, like,
none of the guys
Pronger and
can be on that.
Cujo or like
Grant
McDavid and Draisaitl and Smith and Guerin and Dougie Waite, like.
No.
Yeah, you probably have to say everyone else because
Yeah, you
you're
think
taken
so?
from multiple generations, and even just the guys you just named. Like, if you had to pick, like, you mean 85 team against this team, well, the 85 team I think wins
Against a current team, yeah, for sure. Like, yeah.
current team. But I mean, you get that Pronger in there, so Hall of Fame quality. You get Cujo, so you have fantastic
Or Joaquin
goaltending.
Gage.
Or Joaquin Gage is the backup. He doesn't have
Great
to
in
be
the
the starter. He'd be
room.
the backup.
I'd be great
Cujo's
in
the
the
starter.
room. Oh my God, I'd love to be in that room.
Yeah, but really, it's like, okay, you got you have Cujo and maybe like a Billy Ranford or Gager, and yeah, I mean, you got Prongers
Or a
and
healthy
anchoring
Dwayne
your blue line,
Rolison or whatever. Like,
or a healthy Roley. Like you yeah. So you have, yeah. I think everyone wins because you have McDavid and Draisaitl in on that, right? So you have your ultra high level. I mean, guys that you already said in like Guerin and Dougie Waite. You could have Jason Arnott in his prime
Ryan
could
Smith,
be on there.
Jason Arnott, if you wanted Taylor Hall, but like there's
yeah.
You come on, Dustin. Come on.
Oh, I put it in there. He was a first overall pick. I didn't say Yakupov. Yeah, I mean Nuge would
No,
probably
Yakupov
make
would be
that
on the team.
but-
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yes, a Puljujarvi kicks around on the fourth
Puljujarvi,
line.
he's
Doesn't get
anchoring
the
that first
opportunity
line.
on the all-time team either. Ridiculous. But yeah, I mean, I think it's a pretty good question. The one area that I would be a bit concerned is that, outside of Pronger, that's still not it's a good blue line. I guess Jason Smith, like maybe a healthy Sheldon Surrey and some of these guys. But, I mean, that 85 blue line was pretty good.
85 blue line is pretty disgusting.
No, I think you go with Igor Ulanov, maybe a little Bobo in there. You got some pretty good D-men.
Eric Brewer in his prime was pretty good.
Healthy Brewer was pretty good. Yeah.
Healthy Brewer.
Yeah,
Did I ever
maybe.
tell you? It was such a funny moment with Eric Brewer. It was when he came to Edmonton and we were playing the St. Louis Blues. Did I tell you this?
No.
I must have told you this.
I don't think I heard this.
It was before. It was before the game, and Mac T had come in and kind of talked a little bit, and went back out. And as he was going out, because he's kind of going over the Blues, and they were talking about Turgeon behind the net because he set up behind the net and generated a lot of offense. And so Brewer goes, "So, Coach, you want us to try to force him out on his back end?" And Craig McTavish, as he's walking out, looks back kind of over his shoulder, goes, "This is the NHL. Guys have backhands too." And walked out. He walked out, and everyone started laughing. And Brewer was like, "Well, fuck you too."
Got an Eric Brewer story too.
It's just so funny.
What's your Brewer
That is a
story,
good one.
Cass?
The loudest punch I ever threw. So exhibition, and I ran over a guy. It was like a line change. Puck had just got dumped in. Our guys changed, so I hop on, and I basically hopped on and beeline straight and blew up a guy, open ice. Their defenseman coming around the net, like it was like a battle in the corner, and then he like scooped the puck out and then went to wheel behind the net, and I was coming in like full steam, clean hit. Tyson Strachan was the defenseman's name, and it was one of those things. Like the second the hit happens, you're probably fighting somebody in exhibition, especially at that time. And I was still, it was still young enough that guys didn't know who I was at that point. Like they don't know necessarily, especially veteran guys, like guys you played against in the AHL or whatever, like they know, or in junior, but veteran guys don't necessily know.
They don't know that you're
And
going to
so
kick their ass if they try to fight you.
Yeah. So I basically, after the hit, like skinny back up ice, spun around, and I had like 4 guys coming at me. So my gloves were off, and it was already because everyone's beelining towards you, and it basically is like, who's the first one that's going to get there is whoever. And Brewer was the first one there. So, end up scrapping with him. And I one of the punches caught him square in the forehead, like right dead center, like right in the middle of the forehead. And I just remember, because usually you don't hear much, but I just remember hearing like a thwap, like just the sound of my fist hitting him, like just like a solid thunk, like it was really loud right in front of our bench. And he ended up, concussed him with it. Like he left and sat out the next couple of games. But that was the loudest punch I ever threw was Eric Brewer in his forehead. Just a heavy, just a thwap. Like, and it sounded exactly how you think it would sound.
I'm kind of like, don't get me wrong, Eric Brewer was a great guy, but I'm kind of glad I heard that story, Cass, because I got another Brewer story that made me feel just awful one day. So if on pregame meals, a lot of us would go to a Sicilian pasta kitchen downtown before the game. So
SPK.
We were all there talking, and I'm there, and Tommy Salo is unbelievable. Like, he's by far the best player on our team. And we started talking about whatever, I don't know who we were playing, and talking about the game and how good Tommy was playing. We're all eating there, and Eric, who's sitting right beside me, goes, "Oh my God, if that guy goes down, we are so screwed." And I was like, everyone stopped eating, and I looked at him, and then it was like quiet at the table, and I put my face in my chicken parmesan and just like, I guess, yeah, I know you're kind of right. But that warmed the heart that he got smacked that one time. So sorry, Brew. I love you, but that hurt big time.
Oh, that's too good. All right, that's going to do it for another episode of Two Guys and a Goalie. What do you guys, you got big plans this weekend? What's going on? I'm doing some football, but what's happening with you guys?
I'm trying to get in that car, Dusty. That's all I'm trying to do.
You're going to steal your son's first vehicle.
Yeah. Oh, that's going to be he can drive. I don't mind. I can I'm a good wingman. It's quite spacious in that car too, which is kind of nice.
What a nice find. What a responsible, good decision. Like
Southside Nissan. Thank you. Great. That's 2 cars. My wife's car I got there, and they're great. Great support staff. Awesome.
Beauty. Cass, what are you up to, buddy?
We got some stuff with the kids Friday and Saturday, and then Sunday. Actually, you know what? Can we extend this thing by like 2 minutes? Because I got a question for you guys.
Okay, of course we can.
Internal discussion.
We can go for 3 hours if you want.
Yeah, help me sort this out. So, I got a Stanley Cup party on Sunday that I'm going to be at.
What?
I didn't know you won it this year. That's awesome.
That kind of ties in, Dusty. That ties in to my moral and ethical conundrum here that I'm having.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
I say do it. I say do it. You're done.
Yeah.
You're done.
I know.
You're done.
But it was like, I know, but I just, like, there's a part of me that just has a hard time, like,
yeah.
Like and that's where my conundrum is. Like, I don't know, like, will I feel dirty if I touch it because I haven't actually won it, you know?
But sometimes you got to get a little dirty to feel good.
But I've been thinking about it all week. I'm like, should I touch it? Like, should I pick it up? Or do I touch it but not pick it up? Like, is it okay just to touch it? But, but then if I pick it up, is that crossing? Like, what's appropriate for me to do? I don't know, guys.
Man, I just know if you were still playing, I wouldn't touch it at all. But you don't have a chance to win it anymore, right? Yeah. So, I mean, I can't. I've never been in your shoes. So, I mean, I've touched it a couple of times when the Niedermayers brought back to Cranbrook, but I was a kid at the time. And I already knew I was shit and I was never going to win anything. So I was like, I'm going to touch that right now. But, Gager, where do you come out on this?
Cass, if you were still involved in hockey in some capacity, whether it was coaching junior or little kids, there's the possibility, right?
Yeah.
Maybe you're scouting. If you were involved in hockey in any sort, maybe just a picture beside it. That's okay. But like, there's no chance I'm getting a ring or winning anything. I don't know. My work on Oilers Plus is pretty good, so maybe I would. But anyway,
hey, if Stoff gets a ring, you get a ring, Gager.
Yeah. Cass, grab that bad boy, put it over your head, just like you thought you would do as a little kid. Get tons of pictures with it, and I don't think you're supposed to, but grab a Kool-Aid out of that thing too, man. That's a once in a lifetime.
Even if you don't want to pick it up above your head, I'd probably try to drink out of it, buddy. Think about everybody else who's drank out of it. Like, they all didn't win it. Like, so, man, What a tough decision you have.
Yeah, that's tough. Who's
It
party?
is. Most people seem like, because I've talked to a lot of people about it. Most people tell me that I should. That I should.
You'll regret it
But
if you don't,
there's just
man.
that.
What's your wife say? What's she
Probably,
think?
yeah. She says do it. She's like, you'd be dumb not to do it. That's what she says.
Well,
She's
there's your
gonna
answer.
do it.
Yeah.
Put your kids in it. I'd do everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, have fun with it,
that's
buddy.
what I wanted to talk about. How about what's his name? Kessel. Did he bring the cup back to Toronto again? Is that right?
I saw he had it. Did he bring it back to Toronto again?
I think he did. That's awesome.
That's that's hilarious. That guy's had a number of Stanley Cup parties, which is just unbelievable. Hell of a time.
Unbelievable.
Cass, good luck with that decision, buddy. We'll discuss what you did next week and kind of dive into your feelings a little bit deeper on how it all went down.
Yeah, unpack it. Yeah, this
Yeah.
is our support group. So
The Diamond Dogs from Ted Lasso. All right, see you guys later. Have a good weekend.
Later.